Welcome back to the Keeping It Real with KC podcast. I, of course, am your host, KC Phoenix, and it is time for my daily thought, which I haven't done in a minute. So, yeah, before I go any further, KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. I wasn't sure where I was planning on putting this at. I was actually about to put this in my Quick 3 Tarot or somewhere else, but then I changed my mind and just decided to do it as a daily thought. Let me take a sip of water right quick. Okay. So I had a dream earlier this morning, and it was about a situation where someone was attempting to get me to see something a certain way, but it was so obvious that they were the ones orchestrating everything behind the scenes and stuff. And it's where they were attempting to make me believe something that wasn't true. So they did all of these shenanigans to make me believe it, but the things they were doing were so obvious in my dream. I'm just like, really? So, yeah. And what something said to me when I woke up from the dream is, beware of inside jobs. Now, for this particular daily thought, we'll file this under the tarot and all this other stuff. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. With the beware of inside jobs, I'm saying do your due diligence, do your research. And it's kind of funny because I've already started the pre-shuffle with some of the cards for the Quick 3 Tarot. And one of the things that came out in the pre-shuffle was the Page of Swords, which the Page of Swords, for those who are not familiar, if you don't listen to my tarot readings, Page of Swords is air energy. Swords deal with thoughts and communication. But the Page of Swords specifically, the pages deal with messages. The Page of Swords deals with messages, receiving a message and gathering information. Also, Page of Swords can be about spying too. But I wasn't picking up that energy when I was doing the pre-shuffle. But with the Page of Swords, usually, like I said, it's about gathering information. I feel in some situations, people don't always have all of the information. However, on the surface, when something is presented to them, that's what they run with, instead of looking below the surface to see, okay, well, why did this happen? How did this happen? How long has this been going on? Well, how does this connect to that? Well, how does that connect to this? And connecting the dots to every single thing. It's almost like where if it's something is presented to someone, it appeals to their emotional side, and then they just run with that instead of letting it appeal to their emotional side and then taking a step back for a second and saying, okay, my emotional side is saying this. What is my logical side saying? Why am I seeing this now? Why did this happen? How did this happen? Is this connected to anything else? Is this a coincidence? Is it a pattern? Is it a habit? What's going on? As in dissecting the situation. And sometimes when you take that approach, you find out that certain situations in life where you've dealt with people or other parties were orchestrated to get you to do a certain action or to get you to react a certain way. to whatever they are doing, because there are people out there who are manipulators. Manipulation is what they do. And part of manipulation is knowing how to manipulate people, knowing what their triggers are, knowing what will get someone to shut off their logical side and just keep the emotional side at high, keep it at 10 all the time. Because when somebody is very emotional, they're very easy to manipulate. And I'm saying beware of an inside job. Because sadly, like I said, we live in a world of manipulators. So if you have people around you, whether it's family, because family does it, co-workers do it, even lovers do it, the government sure does it. Manipulation is all around you. And not everything is as it seems. So instead of going with the first emotional reaction, maybe one should take a step back and be like, okay, what else is behind this? What's behind the curtain here? What's going on? Because right now you're seeing whatever this individual, whether it be a friend, family member, co-worker, what they're showing you up front. But if you start to dig like the Page of Swords and you start bringing up all this other information, you're like, wait a second, this is connected to the person who was the one that brought all of this to my attention. Why is all of this why is everything leading back to this person? Or why is everything leading here? Or why is everything leading there? This wasn't organic. It was an inside job. Just to manipulate me, to get me to react a certain way. So that's where this daily thought came from, based off of my dream that I had this morning. Because when I woke up, something said to me, beware of an inside job. And I'm not singling out any specific person. I'm not singling out any specific event. What I'm singling out is the behavior as a whole is what I'm singling out. The behavior as a whole on planet Earth. Because there are plenty of inside jobs happening on planet Earth. What I'm telling you is, anytime something is presented to you, if you notice that you are reacting emotionally to it, that is fine. However, take a step back and start analyzing, how did all of this come about? What was it that brought this into play? Does this lead to anything else? Was this a coincidence? Was it a pattern? Or is it a habit? Is the way it came about a reputable way? I'm saying beware of an inside job. They happen all the time. Again, with family, with coworkers, with lovers, with government, with whatever. Because when someone can't convince you to see things the way that they see them, then maybe their next step is manipulation. That is what they do. Because people who are manipulators, they're about getting what they want, and getting what they want by any means necessary. And if they have to, and when I say they, I mean just a single individual or whatever. If an individual has to get what they want through manipulation, then they're willing to do it because all they care is about what they want. They don't care about you. They don't care about your emotions. They don't care about anything but themselves. So they're willing to do whatever they have to do to achieve the goal they want to achieve. Not everything in life is as it is. Now, as I always say, I'm not telling you to be paranoid, looking over your shoulder, constantly checking every single thing. No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, if your spidey sense ever goes off just a little bit, it may not hurt to do a little bit more research. If your spidey sense goes off just a little bit, it may not hurt to pause for a moment and be like, okay, my emotions are telling me this. My spidey sense is telling me something else. Let me break this down before I truly react to whatever it is that the individual or entity involved in is doing. So beware of an inside job. And that is my daily thought. KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. This podcast is carried on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Overcast, Bullhorn, Amazon Music, Audible, and several other podcasting platforms. Please feel free to listen to this podcast on whatever platform is most convenient for you. KIRWKC on all the social media platforms. Until next time, be blessed.